Hey. Psalms 55. I want to read this real quick. It says, evening and morning and at noon will I pray and cry aloud, and he shall hear my voice. This is Psalms 55:17. He has delivered my soul in peace from the battle that was against me. For there are many with me. God shall hear and afflict them, even he that abideth of old, because they have no changes. Therefore they fear not God. He has put forth his hands against such as be against him. But he also protects those who are at peace with him. And the words of his mouth are smoother than butter, but war is in his heart. That's the guy that's sabotaging everybody. His words are softer than oil, yet they were drawn swords. Cast your burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain you. He will never suffer the righteous to be moved. It's really true. It's a true saying. Just wanted to read that for you guys, and then I'm going to get into what we want to talk about with Justice League. So the box office has stopped tracking Justice League for the last couple of days. They're going to track it as time goes along. I think we're at what are we? That was the 8th weekend just went by, or the 7th. I don't know which one it is. I think it's the 8th. So we have 2 more weekends, and we have 3 more weeks of Justice League. And we're still working on it. I'm up on Facebook. I'm up on Twitter. So if you want to hit me up on Twitter or Facebook, cool. With Facebook, we're looking at Justice League Unite. Okay. So what I want to talk about very quickly, is the connection of Justice League in a specific instance with BVS. We've been having some nice talks. I really want to have a nice big discussion of the DCEU so far, and how there are so many relatable things we need to really talk about. What I would really like, though, is a number of you to be in this hangout, not just in the chat section, because chat section is cool and everything, but I would like you guys to be in the hangout, and a hangout where we can actually talk with one another live and stream it. We'll also have some chats on Facebook, DC Justice League Unite, and I'll be starting a new DC group as well, so that we can keep on going with the DCEU and deal with anything that has to do with the DCEU. Not so much news and stuff, but the substance of things. Check out Samuel Utton's channel. Samuel Utton is really dope in that respect. I always try to give Samuel Utton props. All right, so let me just go into something that we've kind of covered, but not really. So if you go to Samuel Utton, you'll see in the beginning, Superman's talking about hope, okay? But he's actually talking about aspects of hope which are true, and that is, most times, hope comes and goes. So what the principle behind hope is this. Hope is something that's easy to lose. It's easy to lose. It's that precious that it's easy to lose. But the nice thing about it is, like he was saying, just like with car keys, you may be looking for it, but it's right around. It's not too far away. If you keep on digging around, you'll find it, right? Now, Samuel Utton talked about this in some detail, but I want to talk about how that transpires between Man of Steel, BVS, to Justice League, right? Very quickly. So basically, hope is a thing that is very delicate. It can come and it can go. People can lose hope very easily. And that's what makes it fleeting. But it's never too far away. It's never too far away. And you hear Lois Lane talk about that. Now, in Man of Steel, Superman epitomized the hope for Krypton. In fact, Jor-El said, I've held that hope in my hands. And the reason Superman was the hope for Krypton was because he had the whole entire codex in his DNA. Okay, it was grounded into his DNA. So Superman could be, the potential for Superman, and that's what hope is, potential to be good was massive. He could do whatever he wanted. And Jor-El explained that to Kal-El while he was on Earth. And Superman epitomized this hope because he was the bridge between two peoples. The important thing about Superman is, and why he is the symbol of hope, and as Jor-El said, he would be a god to them, is because he sort of symbolizes the bridge between the Kryptonians and humans. All of these characters in the DCEU are bridges to something. They are devices for us to understand certain characteristics and certain things about ourselves and also about the world in general. So in this case, Superman, the whole discussion we've been having throughout the DCEU from Man of Steel to this present time, whether it's Suicide Squad, whether it's Wonder Woman, whether it's Man of Steel, whether it's BVS, has been about hope and how human beings and other beings can have the potential to do good. Suicide Squad, interestingly, was Amanda Waller's hope on her vision of bad people doing something good, the potential of bad people to do something good. Man of Steel, it was about Jor-El's vision, really, basically. Superman is Jor-El's vision in that in particular story, which is about the act of every human being having a potential to be something good. Okay, and so Jor-El says that to Kal-El, and Kal-El is supposed to give them this ideal. In BVS, we get Kal-El embracing this ideology, and it only comes after a lot of bad things have happened, and Kal-El is broken. He is at the end of hope bankruptcy, whereas Bruce Wayne is at the end of moral bankruptcy because he has succumbed to fear. Kal-El had another challenge. He was at the end of hope bankruptcy. He was at the edge of giving up on hope. It was about to go for him because everything that he does good, there's just something worse happens. It's not the media, it's not the world, it's not how they treat him. It's the fact that when he gets involved in something, something worse happens, and he does not understand why that's happening. He didn't know Lex Luthor was actively working in the background to try to get him to break, not to be that symbol of hope. He's not aware of that. So Superman gets an affirmation of hope from reflecting on his dead father's words, his earthly father, that is. So that the role of Jor-El and then the role of Jonathan Kent helped to boost Superman into the ideal, the person, the icon that he comes to be. He's a representation of the potential of each person to be a force for good. And in BVS, this is reestablished when hope seems to be gone. And this motif is what Kal-El is speaking to this young boy before Kal-El has died. And this is before Kal-El is even challenged to that point. This was in 2015. Kal-El died in 2016. So before that, here's Kal-El talking about hope coming and going. And that's a principle now that we see where Kal-El is tested right after that, I guess, where he is reaching the end of his hope. And he is able to renew his hope in a solitary place, which is interesting because that kind of reinforces a strong man is strongest alone. Sometimes reflection by yourself can strengthen your resolve to do things. And that's something that only you can do in your quiet space. So we see in Man of Steel, the introduction of this idea of hope, Jor-El's vision. It was really Jor-El's vision that Superman is. Superman is the vision of Jor-El, the nurturing and the right foundation by Jonathan Kent and Martha Kent. Okay? But Superman now doesn't see it as Jor-El's vision of him anymore. In fact, he has claimed it as his own, where he says this farmer from Kansas, it was just a crazy vision from a silly farmer from Kansas, which was himself. He considers himself a farmer. But it's interesting that he has these small town value systems. He's very straightforward, straight cut, practical. And now he's embracing this vision as his own, the vision of being this ideal. He's now fully embracing it as his own because he realizes Lewis supports him, and he becomes this big sacrifice. Okay. Now, the important thing you have to understand here that is running through this thread is everything that Kal-El says at the beginning of Justice League covers everything that has happened to Kal-El, even though Kal-El at that point in time in that video did not go through all those things, and is also about everything that is about to happen with Kal-El. So it's very interesting that Kal-El is basically giving a summary of what happened before Justice League, and he's also giving a summary of what is going to happen in Justice League. And I thought that's brilliant writing. I think Chris Terrio shaped it, and I think that Joss Whedon took that and he repackaged it in a way where he could fit that into the story. So he decided to shorten up the story a different kind of way, and he put that in front. I thought it was brilliant. So what does that have to do with us? So I want to just share with you why this is important for us and why we don't give up hope, even though at times we will give up hope. We will, but hopefully it will come back and we will get back that hope. This is important for us because, for instance, let's just talk about this movie. I mean, it's just a movie, but this movie, it has not done well at the box office, even though I do believe it's going to rake in a couple cash. And I think it's definitely going to go past Man of Steel whenever it's said and done. But nonetheless, the point is that with this movie, which is a box office flop, you can't, no way around it. It's not your typical box office flop because it's made its money. It's not a box office loss for Warner Brothers. It's not at all. But it's not a box office profit. It hasn't made. It's probably just broken even. Okay, which means it's a flop in the sense that Warner Bros. This was supposed to go past $1 billion. There's no excuse for it. It needed to go past $1 billion. It didn't even do that. And so it didn't go past $1 billion. And then on top of that, it also failed to amass any sizable profit. So it is a box office flop. We can declare that now at this point in time in the game. You can say that. Hold on one second, ladies and gentlemen. I'll have to go. But I just wanted to say, though, in spite of that result, does that mean we lose hope? Not only for Justice League, but also for the rest of the DCU? Of course not. So that's what I was trying to say, and I was trying to get to you with that example. But I really want to use some other examples in life. All right, guys, I got to see you guys. You guys have a great one.